Hey, Sooner football fans. This is your Sooner football fans podcast. On today's podcast, all the way from Ponca City, Oklahoma, we have Keesha Collins-Duggan on with us. Keesha is a lifelong Sooner living up in Polk country, and her brother was recruited by the King Barry Switzer himself and played football for the Sooners. Keesha has some great stories to tell, and like her Sooner sister Tara, she has an extreme dislike for the Pokes. Sooner football fans is not affiliated with the University of Oklahoma, but we do have eligibility left. Boomer. Hey, Sooner football fans. You've got Terry and Rob here. Boomer, Rob.
Boomer, Terry.
Well, how's it going today, Rob? Anything exciting happening in your life?
Not much. No. I ate lunch up in the South Club with the team, though. That was pretty cool.
Oh, I saw. Yeah,
I didn't eat with the team.
They ate with you, right?
I was in the same room. So, okay.
Yeah, I saw you text me that picture.
Oh, I did, inside the club.
Yeah.
Yeah, Caleb Kelly was standing there, and I was like, oh, man, that's a good picture right there. I'm going to try to get that. And as soon as I did, man, he turned around and started walking off. I was like, dang it. And he sat down. I had to make sure the light was off because you don't want it to flash.
Yeah.
I didn't want him knowing.
Knowing that you're over there messaging out pictures of all the players.
Yeah, in fact, I don't know. I may could get in some kind of trouble doing that.
Maybe.
I probably should stop doing that.
well, I think one of my favorite stories of you at work was last year when the bread truck dropped a bunch of bread, and who came out to help you?
Baker Mayfield.
Pick up all the bread, and I was like, did you get a picture? You could have tweeted it out or put it on Facebook. The baker picking up bread.
Yep. We definitely dumped out a dozen or two packages, and he definitely came over right there in front of Headington, and he definitely came over and helped my guys pick it up. I was like, hey, thanks, man.
Yeah.
No problem.
I just thought it was funny that, Baker picking up bread. I mean, just so.
Well, he baked it. So.
Yeah. But last night I forgot. Caleb had to come and remind me when you left after the podcast with Derek, Better Call Saul.
Oh,
premiered last night.
Oh, it did?
Yep.
Well, I missed it. All I've got's like HBO Now and DirecTV Now, so I don't even know what that. I really don't even know what channels I got.
Well, the Breaking Bad fans that we are, and then me and Caleb have been followed it right into Better Call Saul.
Yeah, I'm a Saul fan.
Yeah,
you betcha.
And it came out. He came outside out to the garage. That's what he was coming out. Was like to tell me was last night was Better Call Saul premieres tonight. Did you forget? And I was like, oh crap, yes I did. So I had to hurry up and push the podcast with Derek out, get all the editing done, and I went in there and watched the first episode. But it's funny, that show is so much like. It's not like Breaking Bad, but the way it's written, it starts off so slow the first couple episodes.
I know it's got me over going, come on now, come on. Give me something here. I want to see,
Yeah, it just drug out and was done. It was a good episode. It was, ended up being pretty good, but it was just like something good's got to happen.
And something good did happen?
Yeah, it was. You just have to see it. It was funny what happened,
Any cameos by any of the big boys?
No. Caleb did say, because he reads all the backboards to all that stuff, that there's supposed to be somebody from the show on this year, but I think they hinted on it last night because it talked about the DEA. So
Hank Schrader.
Yep. Uncle Hank.
That's pretty sad. I got his name down.
It's impressive that you know his last name. I just knew it was Uncle Hank.
Oh, yeah. I might need to rethink some of those things before they pop out.
Yeah, but no, it was a pretty good episode. So, it was a fun one. So, got done with that, and then started reading up on the Sooners again, seeing what's been going on in Soonerville. Before we get into that, well, it is on football. I put a tweet out there, and a lot of people have responded to it today, and I put it out there, and I appreciate everybody, discussing. That's what it was out there for. But the tweet, from our our show was just curious. All the hype videos for camp, you see all these great catches from our receiving core and not one damn interception. Now, I know that, they want to see, the touchdowns, but some of the catches that they showed, a few people even commented on it that was, poor coverage. There was a couple of them where, CD was behind the defensive back 2 or 3 yards. I just thought, maybe since our defense has been 67th the last 5 years, that they would show some of the improvement on defense on some of this. Maybe they will. But that's not what gets people to watch. I understand that.
Well, the catches that I seen, some of the clips that I seen, the coverage was there. It was a great pass, especially the one with Drake Stoops. Did you see that one?
Yep.
That was impressive.
Yeah.
Impressive catch.
And apparently he's pushing for some playing time.
Yeah.
Didn't say anything about starting, but I guess he's been really impressing them. He's playing the slot and has a great knack for making the plays.
Do you see him as one of those little the guy at the Dallas Cowboys? What's his name? The little slot receiver.
I know who you're talking about. Just like
Wes Welker.
Wes Welker. Yeah.
That's who he is, isn't it?
Yeah. He's not overly fast. He's not overly gifted, not overly big. He's
Wonder
not
what
very
his
big at
stats
all.
are. I mean, is he a 4.5 guy, 4.6 guy?
I don't know,
But I mean, he's pretty small.
yeah. But that catch, like I said, he nice little kind of fade out, one-handed grab and pulled it in, and so.
Well, I think he's just like Wes Welker. The guy across from him is going to go, yeah, what's this guy going to do? And all of a sudden, he's got a 10-yard completion, and he's
Right.
breaking your tackle, and he's running for 15 or whatever.
Right. But I just thought it was interesting that he popped up so early because it's 4 days into camp, and they're already talking about a red shirt, making some plays.
Do you think there's some wannabe in there? Not on his part. Do you think people want him to be good because obviously he's Bob's son?
Yeah. And what is it they called it? What is it they gave him? A preferred red shirt.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think even if he was, the size, he made visits. I mean, they went to Iowa. There were schools interested in him, but I don't think, what are the chances he's going to go somewhere else?
Yeah, if you got a chance to go to Oklahoma, you're going to Oklahoma.
Right.
I mean, period.
Especially if your dad's the legendary coach there. So, I don't know if they didn't give him a scholarship because, hey, I'm pretty sure Bob can afford it.
Well, we normally don't give scholarships to guys that are under 6 feet tall unless they can run 4.2, 4.3, 40. So I'd say, stats-wise and physicality are probably what got him passed over initially.
Right.
But you can't – I mean, it's come very clear that you cannot overlook those Wes Welker type guys.
Right.
Because I'm telling you, Wes Welker played a big part in the Patriots.
Yeah. Well, and Broiles, I mean, he was undersized, and even Sterling. Sterling was, Sterling is bigger than what they said he was, though.
And he's a lot bigger than Drake Stoops.
Yeah. True. But, I'm hoping for the best. I mean, the more we put out there, the more guys that are performing and pushing like this, it's just going to make everybody else around them better.
Yeah, and I think that's the kind of kid who he is.
Yeah.
Listen, if you're not playing your best, Drake Stoops is going to take your spot.
Right. Yeah, he's kind of
and he's going to do well.
Yeah. He can play well enough to replace you.
I think, when he's a junior, senior type kid, that there's a possibility he is the one.
Yeah.
Unless we just get some athletic freaks, which we probably will, hopefully.
Yeah. The other big one, everybody's worried about the safeties. We've been talking about the safeties.
Yeah, and
worried.
I think we had another safety or D-back go down today.
Yeah. I can't remember his name.
So is that 3 knees?
Mm-hmm.
Good grief.
So, but we got, Broiles, apparently Justin Broiles has been playing really well. And it's in a big battle with Robert Barnes.
Is that the safety spot?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Broiles has been, I guess, working with the ones primarily, and then Barnes is getting some reps, and they're, apparently Jordan Parker, they're real happy with his progress there, which I don't know what that means. That, he's just not filling it in right yet.
I don't know. I guess my question is, obviously, it's going to be about Buki, but if we're not in the nickel, is he on the sideline?
Buki?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what it sounds like, but I can't. For the life of me, couldn't figure out. I can't figure out why. If he's what, if he's what they say and what we believe he is,
then you got to find him a spot.
You find him a spot,
right?
But it's
so. How many times if we run 50 defensive plays, how many times are we in the nickel?
Right. Well, and that's another. That rolls right in to a lot of the stuff coming out of camp right now. Because of Bookie, what scheme are we going to be running? And a lot of people,
So that's a 4-2-5.
Right. They're running a hybrid 3-4 as their base.
We're still in a 3-4?
Yeah.
I don't like the defense.
But they're saying don't be shocked if it's a 4-2-5 ending up being their base defense because of
Bookie.
Well,
so I think you got to get your players on the field.
Right.
I mean, good grief, you can't.
Yeah, and in the defenses, the offenses that we face, the league that nobody can play defense in because of the great offenses. If you're going to run something, I'm all in for the 4-2-5. You've got a solid front, and you got enough guys back there, and then if you got a leader.
Well, our safety's big enough to walk them down because you remember we used to do that.
Yeah.
So we, in a nickel defense like that, a 4-2-5, I'm a big fan of walking that safety down and busting a quarterback in the mouth.
Right.
So.
Well, and I think you saw, sparks of that in the spring game. When Bookie was out there.
I didn't get to see the spring game.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh, sorry, but you saw sparks of that because in the second half, especially, obviously it wasn't full speed. He wasn't going back there to hit. But I've said it before. It looks like they've kind of given Bookie the rein back there of reading what's going on and making the choice of blitzing or covering.
If he can handle that, man, I'm all for it.
Yeah. So, we haven't seen the, Roy Williams and those guys, like you said, headhunting. Your job, you're going to come from 15 yards back at a full bore. And
Roy Williams, Brandon Everidge,
yeah. But, it's something that everybody is still concerned about. And I think we'll be concerned about until we see a turn of events on the defensive side.
Mm-hmm.
And because nobody's going to buy into it. Nobody's drinking the Kool-Aid. I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid.
The defensive Kool-Aid?
Yeah, the defensive Kool-Aid. I'm not buying into it until I see it happen and consistently happen, because we bought into it after the Ohio State game and was like, here we go. We've turned the corner and went right back to the same old song and dance. So, but Kyler Murray is apparently impressed with him. He said he hasn't been in a camp this competitive since he's been here.
Well,
talking about the defense.
Let's be honest. He's not going to say anything bad about his defense.
Well, no.
He's not going to go, hey, those guys are not very good this year. Yeah. He's just not going to do that.
But you're starting to see some attitude from the defense. Did you see Caleb Kelly's quote?
Yeah, I did, actually.
When they were talking about, Oklahoma not getting any respect for, being the 5th ranked team, and people saying they're overrated. And what is it? Nobody likes Oklahoma, and Oklahoma don't like nobody. I love that.
Yeah. Let's bring it on, brother. You know,
Yeah,
right here. Here.
I think that's a shirt right there waiting to happen. Oklahoma, nobody likes Oklahoma, and Oklahoma don't like nobody.
Yep.
And again, that's the attitude that we were hoping to see, because that's a Brian Bosworth, or more recently, Baker Mayfield statement.
Absolutely.
And that's what we've been talking about.
You gotta love it.
Nobody is who's going to step up and be that brash leader, the guy with the mouth, and it doesn't have to be.
It doesn't have to be Miami Hurricane mouth,
right? It doesn't have to be obnoxious. I mean, look at Tim Tebow.
Right.
I mean, Tim Tebow. They would have followed him, out into the ocean. He was a leader. He was a mouth, but it was a different style.
Mm-hmm.
When he sat there and pounded the desk. I promise you we will not lose another game and we'll win the national championship. God bless, and walked off. And lo and behold, they did it. So, but, it's good to see that type of leadership coming out of them.
I like it. I think that, if you're calling people to you, then you're ready.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come get some kind of a deal. Most people that can't back it up don't say it.
Yeah.
So.
And, then
obviously you've seen the pictures of Caleb Kelly. He can back it up.
Yeah.
So.
And it's amazing how much bigger he is from last year. I mean, it is just flat out nutso.
He probably stayed here year round, honestly.
Yeah.
And just did nothing but work out. He probably didn't take a break.
Yeah. But I mean, because what is he, a junior or senior?
He is a junior at the most.
Yeah. And so
he might be a sophomore.
Yeah, he might be. I have to look. But, again, it's just the work these guys have put in the off season, is 100% showing, at least physically.
Yeah, I think so,
the eyeball test. Now, does that equate into,
let's hope,
the physical test?
I mean, if you're putting in the work, you're going to get the results.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's got to, everybody's doing their part. So
yeah. And I guess the other big thing going on here in camp is Alvarez and Humphreys.
Yeah.
Battle for the center position. Obviously, Alvarez has an upper hand because he's played in the system for a while. But there's, he will I'm guessing he's probably going to get the start. And we'll see Humphreys if somebody does go down. Alvarez can play either guard.
Wasn't it Jason from the Brainiacs that said Creed Humphreys is going to have a starting spot?
Yeah, he was. He's vying for it. But
even if they had to move him to the other side, he was gonna supplant somebody.
The big thing about him is he's got so much, apparently so much raw talent that they're impressed. He literally just physically, not scheme wise, physically pushes defenders around and stonewalls them.
Yeah, I think Gabe Backert, one of those guys, said he had tree trunks.
Yeah, and that's what I think. It's the mind, the learning curve hasn't caught up with Alvarez, but the physical, the physical part of the game definitely has. Mm-hmm. And so what he lacks in knowing what to do, he can make up in just, strictly brute strength and talent. But you know it as well as I do, that center position, it's the anchor. And you screw it up, you make the wrong call, you make the wrong read, you block the wrong guy.
Kind of avalanches.
Right, very quickly. Mm-hmm. And the next thing you know, you got, a quarterback with a concussion or on his back or something like that. So I think that's where they're focusing in on getting him. The physicalness is there. He can just flat out, bang and push people around. So... But have you watched any? You've looked at some of the videos, haven't you? Some of the camp videos.
Yeah.
the equipment they have is freaking awesome.
Oh yeah.
You know, all the different blocking dummies.
Yeah,
you know,
it's pretty amazing.
You know, they're rolling the giant donut down there, down there to tackle. It's just so cool. You know, I remember, again, this was eons ago, but we just had one round pad and, you know, a 5-man, a 2-man sled, and then a 5-man sled. That our ag department in McAllister built, and we didn't even.
And they weren't padded very well.
Yeah, no, they weren't padded very well.
So when you come out and hit them, most of the time you're hitting iron.
And there was really no springs in them. You know, it was kind of like just hitting raw steel. And the 5-man one, I guarantee you, weighed as much as a Mack truck.
Oh yeah.
You know, because
the coach would go out and stand on and slap you in the back of the helmet. Oh, I hated that thing.
But it was the one, like I said, the one we had, it was so big and heavy because, like I said, our ag department built it. They built everything for us, man. We are, I guess that's one way to save money if your coach is buddies with the ag teacher and they're doing welding in there. Hey, I mean, a couple of our benches were made by the ag.
It was like, hey, we got an old tractor out there. Can you turn that into a dummy?
Our squat rack. We had 2 different ones. Our squat racks were made by them. And this is how much money we had when I was in high school. Our bench presses were 2x4s. Okay. They were 2x4 benches, handmade. With indoor-outdoor carpet as the padding on them. The V was cut in the top of it, you know, of them for the. I mean, it was. I could sit down with 10 nails and 2 2x4s and build the benches that we had at McAllister High School back then.
Nice,
but but I just it's watching those and seeing all the simple things. That they have, that you go, well, that's pretty cool. The blocking dummies with arms sticking out, so they can work on technique, over-unders and working. Again, we just had flat, round dummies. And
they were 50 years old when we got them. And smelled like a dead body. Yeah.
And surprising that we didn't get, eaten by spiders because they were stored underneath the stadium in a controlled, air conditioning controlled.
Course, yeah.
A whole bunch of, fiddlebacks and black widows in them.
I'm sure they were there.
Yeah. Just never got snapped by one. But, from everything I can tell, Rob, we got a pretty good guest going to be on the podcast today.
I'm excited.
From her, she sounds like she's a little bit like Tara, the rabid Sooner, our friend from Davis, because she sent some stuff about what she wanted to talk about, and apparently she has this rabid hatred for Oklahoma State.
Well, that's an endearing quality.
Yeah, it's not a bad way to be. So this should be fun. So we're going to get her on right now. All right, we have our fan on the phone with us, all the way from just south. Ponca City, south of Stillwater, right, Rob?
No, Ponca's north of Stillwater.
North, is it?
Yeah.
North of Stillwater.
Oh, it's north. Okay, north of Stillwater, in the heart of Orange Country, we have Keesha Collins-Duggan. Dugan,
you're right.
Duggan,
You said it
got
right.
it right.
Yes.
Well, Boomer, Keesha, how are you?
Boomer, I am awesome. I am coming to you guys from Ponca City, Oklahoma. I've been a Sooner fan all my life. My family are Sooner fans, and I'm just excited to be on this podcast and give a Sooner shout out on behalf of my family.
Oh, well, thank you very much. It's an honor to have you on. Glad you reached out. And now, one of the things is what I'd like to do now that I thought about it since we had talked before we got you on is let's just tell stories about your brother and let people
Oh, no.
try to figure it out. We'll let everybody know what position he played and things like that, and see if everybody can figure out who it is. And then at the end of the show, we'll reveal it. How does that sound?
Okay. So you want me to tell, like...
Yeah, we'll get into a little bit of that, because Keesha has family ties deep into the Sooner family.
Yes.
You had a brother that played. We're not going to played for him. We're not going to say his name.
Right.
So, and we'll see if all of the Sooner Football Fan podcast listeners are as smart as me and Rob were. How about that?
I think they got a chance.
They got a chance.
Yeah, they got a chance.
So, but first off,
that works for me.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. What you in Ponca City, what got you there, and so on.
I was born and raised. We were born and raised in Ponca City. Parents were born and raised in Ponca City. So, I mean, we've had generations here in Ponca. And I am a college graduate, and I work. I'm not going to say exactly where I work, but I recruit foster homes for a living now.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Everybody out there, if you want to foster stuff, go, and you should do that. I mean, the state of Oklahoma definitely needs that. So, basically just born and raised here. Sports was a big part of my family. I mean, if you were a Collins in the Collins family, you played sports. I played it all. And I literally kind of was somewhat of a tomboy. Literally was out there pitching the football with my brother. I remember him asking my dad, I need to practice the option. My dad was like, "You should get out there and do it." So literally, I'm out there. He's like, "Tell her what to do. She can do it." And so literally, I'm out there. I tell them that my brother was as good at doing the option because I, helped him along with that. So I like to tell those stories that I was in the backyard with him running the option.
Okay, so
definitely
everybody, that's listening. There's your first.
That's awesome.
There's your first hints.
To be more specific, if they want to know, I think he was the top option quarterback in Oklahoma at the time, like the state blue chip list. I think he was the number one option quarterback.
So you've got your first hints on.
Well, that's an easy Google. You gave it away.
Don't I give too much information?
But one of the things that Rob and I have been talking about on the podcast so far, but one of the topics that we wanted to touch on and talk about that was kind of big today is the Oklahoma is one of 5 schools or 4 that's Jordan branded. It's North Carolina, Michigan, and
I thought it was 3, but I can't
no, there's like 5. It's in North Carolina, Michigan, Oklahoma, and nobody else cares about the other 2. So, but what happened was, I guess some of the North Carolina athletes got suspended by the school for selling their Jordan gear.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Now, the other question that we had last night on our podcast was, well, actually, I'll give Rob the credit for it, was, Kyler Murray just signed a contract with the Oakland A's.
Mm-hmm.
And even though he's on the team, he's a millionaire in a different sport. Multi-millionaire. Sorry, Rob.
Get it right.
So can he take his offensive lineman or his friends out to dinner and it not be a violation? So it's weird that we found out, because we put it out on Twitter, a couple of our buddy Brandon Drum let us know that, it's okay for him to do that. James Hell commented on it too and said, he's teammates with them. It's a separate sport. It's a completely separate entity. It's no different than anything else. But yet, kids who, and my question is with the Jordans, why is it different? Why can they not sell their Jordan gear that the school gave them, but it's okay that they would sell their Nike shoes and sweats at a garage sale.
I don't know. I don't understand a lot of, the NCAA rules
Yeah.
and guidelines. I don't. Some things I just think are just totally. I feel like sometimes they're too much involved, and I just feel like sometimes they just have their nose too far into what each school are doing. I mean, I do feel like everybody needs rules, but sometimes I just think that they go too far.
Yeah. A rule like
far.
that, for instance. I mean, I kind of get it because, the players are, it is, I think it's considered part of their scholarship deal, is that
Right.
they get athletic gear and clothing from the university, supporting the university, and that, they can't sell it for a profit. So blah. I kind of get
Well, and here's the deal: if they sign something that says, that they can't do it, then they can't do it.
right.
I mean,
And I think that's where it all comes about, is that it's because it was given to them by the university. It's part of the university.
Right.
Because let's face it, it as well as probably more than most of us know it. You're kind of the property of Oklahoma or whatever school you go to when you're an athlete. When you sign,
Kinda.
Oh, yeah.
you're kind of their property.
yeah.
If your brother would have said, "Hey, coach, I'm going to go skydiving this weekend," and then it went, "Oh, no, you're not."
That'd be no.
Yeah. So
Of course.
yeah. So, but you're right though. The NCAA and the rules. We talked about it on the podcast today. Earlier today was Gabe Eichert and Spaghetti Gate, when he ate too much spaghetti at the team dinner or the graduation dinner and had to pay the university back. He got,
Wow.
it wasn't a buffet, but it was a buffet style. And he went,
my
and
goodness.
Big Gabe went and got extra spaghetti,
Crazy.
and it was reported. And
So who's the person that's sitting there going, "Oh, that's his second plate of spaghetti. That's his second plate of spaghetti."
That's what I'm wondering. Who is sitting around going, he had eaten too much, like he had three, 4 plates of spaghetti. I mean, who does that?
and if it was your job, you'd go, "Man, he ate 3 plates of spaghetti. He's a big boy."
Yeah,
We were just going to throw the spaghetti away anyway. So,
Right? Let that boy have some spaghetti. Good grief.
no, but it's crazy. But I just thought it was interesting that North Carolina, where Jordan played, they're the first school that had kids reprimanded for that. And of course, they asked Lincoln about it today, and he said they absolutely know the rules and know what they can and cannot do. It has been gone over with them, but apparently he also hinted that he didn't understand the rule. It's their stuff; they can do with it what they wanted.
Yeah, I guess.
No joke.
But can they just keep
I
going back?
totally agree with Lincoln. I mean, the rule, and we're going to follow the rules. But yeah, I don't always have to understand it. I mean,
Right.
I don't know. The whole NCAA, it's a whole beast of its own, in my opinion.
Now, well, now let's get into your brother a little bit, if you don't mind.
Sure.
And he was recruited by Barry Switzer. There's another hint for everybody.
Oh, yeah.
So-
yes. I tell you what, when Barry came to the house, it was like the president was coming to the Collins house. We just were, we were elated. And sitting around just like little puppies, just, oh my God, it's my sister. And I tell you what, he's one of the most personable people I've ever met.
Oh, yeah.
And I've met up with him numerous times throughout, the recruiting process, and then just, seeing him around. And he is one of the most personable people that I've ever met. And, he signed autographs, just really personable. And, of course, I think the offensive coordinator at the time, I want to say it was Merv. I think Johnson, is that his name?
Merv?
Coach Merv Johnson?
Yeah, was
I
he
think he
the
was
offensive coordinator?
at the time. So it was both of them that came to the house, and with us being diehard Sooner fans, that just was Tink's dream. Oh,
Oop.
I said the name.
Nobody heard that. So it would. We'll go ahead. She's not. Keisha's not going to be able to keep it in.
Right.
I won't.
So it's Tink Collins is her brother.
So the process kind of was not very long for the decision to be made. And, of course, we were all elated once the decision was made that was the school he had chosen. We were just very happy that he was able to fulfill that goal and that dream of being a Sooner.
That's awesome.
So definitely, it was a wonderful and happy time, which kind of ended up being somewhat short-lived a little bit because Barry resigned like a year later.
Yeah.
So, with that, it was, wow, just a process. You go through the probation that the team went through. And I want to say it was like 3 years, no bowl, I want to say. I can't remember exact. Like a year, no TV. They couldn't be televised.
Yeah.
And it was a process. A lot of the players left. So really kind of was, suffering. Like, I guess maybe we went through 9 years of
hell
hardship in regards to being a Sooner fan and the program.
Yeah. Well, and then it must have been especially hard for your brother because that was for Tink, because that was during the time of really they were transitioning. When Barry left, they started transitioning out of the option.
There you go.
Option play. And,
there you go.
Enter in Cale Gundy and was the
I remember Cale.
Yeah, was the first really non-option quarterback that we had gotten since Troy Aikman
for a while. Yeah,
and Troy Aikman, went down and Jamel stepped in, but and we went back to it. But so it must have been really difficult on Tink to here's the school of his dreams. Well, and the coach that everybody in the state admired and held to high, and then he leaves, and then everything starts transitioning.
Yes, and I did have some. I have had in-depth conversations with Tink about it, and I said, knowing what you know now, would your decision would have been different? Because a lot of the players transferred out, and Tink says, no, it's my dream to be a Sooner, and I got to do that. It just, that's the love of the program, of the team. So he was able to fulfill that dream. Even though things didn't turn out maybe the way he would have liked for them to, he still was able to fulfill the dream of being a Sooner. Right. And, that was the mission, and, that was achieved. So, and, of course, a 4-year degree along with that, so he was able to, have some success. And, he's still in Norman and doing well. He just was promoted to major in the fire department, so he's doing pretty good.
Well,
I think
awesome.
he's pretty happy in life.
Well, now the recruiting process obviously, has changed dramatically since he was recruited. Did you guys ever come down to the facilities as a family and get to tour the facilities back then?
Well, he and my dad didn't. I was a little bit upset because I didn't get to go. Because the bog was there, and I'm like, "Are you freaking kidding me?" And I did not even get to go because I think Brian Bosworth was on his way out.
Yeah. And plus, you worked out with him. You helped him develop. You should have got to come.
Thank you. So I'm like, can I get some accolades for being the one to help you?
Taught him everything he knows, right?
He and my dad went, and I said, would you please give me Brian Bosworth's autograph? And I can't recall which game. They went down and toured facilities and everything, and he came back, and I had Jamel Holloway's, and I said, where's Brian Bosworth? And he said, Keisha, that line was so long to get Brian's. He didn't give me Brian's, but, I think he did okay. He got me Jamel, so yeah. I was happy.
Yeah,
I was happy.
Jamel's a pretty good friend of mine. I met him actually last year and got to be pretty good friends with him. He's a good guy. But I'm with you. Back then, everybody was enamored by the boss.
Yes.
And that was it. Everybody wanted to be, wanted to see him, get his autograph,
Yes.
and all that stuff. But
I did. I wanted the autograph, and and I understood. He was like, Keesha, the line was so long, and that's one of those things. Maybe one of these days I'll make it, there when Brian Bosworth's there, and maybe I can get an autograph. I don't know that I've ever gotten the Brian Bosworth autograph, but I would love to have one.
Well, if if we ever do see him, we will get one for you. How about that?
That would be so sweet.
We're making no guarantees though, because
okay, I get it.
Just in case if I do,
awesome.
We'll make sure. And Rob has the better chance because he works at the university at the stadium.
Oh,
so if the boss goes walking through there,
I don't think I've ever seen the Boz at the stadium, to be honest with you.
Oh, you haven't?
No. I mean, Coach Merv was in my office today. I seen Coach Merv today, but I never see Boz. I see Little Joe a bunch. But I just don't see, I just don't see a lot of former players there very much, to be honest with you.
I had wondered how often, like, a lot of the former players, so if from time to time you see them down on the sideline.
Yeah.
I just had wondered, do a lot of the former players make it back and, to support the team?
Yeah. I know from knowing Jamel and stuff is that they're welcome there at any time. I mean, they can go, they have, I guess, standing tickets. I don't know how it works. You may even know better than I do, but I just think it depends on the game.
Okay.
Now, I don't want to say anything derogatory about the Boz, but he kind of got a little bit of heat from the university. Not really a heat, but he came out on ESPN on some radio show, and he didn't. I agreed with what he said, but he didn't badmouth Bob Stoops. He just kind of called him to the floor as, hey, it's time to win another championship. That's what Oklahoma football is about. We're being close and close, and close ain't good enough. It's time. Bob needs to start winning some more championships. And, he may have gotten blackballed a little bit for that. Yeah. I don't know, because he used to be a staple at the sidelines and everything, and you kind of stopped seeing him around. And, I don't know that he was told not to come around or if he just decided not to come around. I don't know, but...
Well, and sometimes, a lot of times, it's just, tact is such a wonderful thing sometimes, and sometimes you have it, sometimes you don't, I guess.
Yeah. So, but, I was touching on the recruiting thing because of, we got social media out there that the recruits are all on, and, I'm a little bit older than your brother. There was a guy that played high school ball with me that went to OU, was recruited by OU and went to OU. And, recruiting back then and recruiting now, and facilities back then and facilities now. I mean,
I'm sure it's like day and night.
Yeah.
For sure.
I would love to get, like his view of if he would have walked in to a facility like what we have at Oklahoma now. It is just, I
would almost know. He still probably would have gone to OU. It's, but the recruiting process, and, like the recruits, when they commit, they're making these videos, and, it's just, it's evolved so much.
Yeah.
So much. It's evolved. And literally, like you speak of back then, they're probably hitting them up on text message or, if they can do that. But our phone rang nonstop. Because, this was before all the cell phones. And so literally we had the phones and it rang like nonstop. So literally somebody was having to manually answer the phone and take messages and
or just take it off the
effect. So yeah,
or just take it off
totally.
the hook. So
yeah, literally.
And I'm sure probably, again, back there, the mailbox was probably stuffed every day full of letters and, from schools and alumnus and everything else. That's crazy.
Right.
That is crazy.
Right.
I remember when my mailbox was stuffed full of letters.
It's because you were out of town for a week.
No, college recruiting letters. Well, actually, it wasn't stuffed. I had several though. Well, I had several. I had all right, I have one. And they're like,
and it was to some guy named Robert Smith, and they just thought it was you.
They're like, hey, do you know so and so? It's like, dang it.
Yeah, I never got it. Now, like I said, Don Smitherman, who played football at OU, he was recruited, all the time, and it was funny. The guy that recruited him was Charlie North, who before he took the coaching job at OU, was the high school coach in McAllister. So the only guy we ever got to see was Coach North, and was like, "I've seen you." Okay, send somebody cool down here. But no, it was.
Well, that was the highlight. One of the highlights in my family, and I think I promise you, my dad told everybody in town that Barry Switzer. I said, Dad, you cannot have all these people showing up at the house. We were just so excited, though.
I guarantee you, my dad would have done the same thing. If I'd have been being recruited, my dad would have. He'd have had all of his buddies.
Literally. If you knew, my dad, you knew that Barry Switzer was coming to the house and he was going to be there, and it was just this big thing for our family. As a matter of fact, my dad passed away November 2016, and he would be. I tell you what, he probably would have been like, I'm going to be on the podcast. You take the seat.
That would be cool.
And he probably would have been speaking on the podcast because I tell you what, he was pretty much a diehard. We're Sooner fans because of my dad. Yeah, definitely. He was a huge Sooner fan. So for a team to be able to go and play and actually be recruited and then be on the team, something that has not happened in this area where I live in a long time. Typically kids do not go D1 that are in our area.
Right.
So it was a big thing for us and our family. And if he wouldn't have gone there, we still would have been Sooner fans.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
So
definitely
now. Obviously, again, we got your little, information, and we talked to you before. You have is your dislike? I'll say dislike instead of hatred. But if you want to correct me on that, you can. For Oklahoma State, do you think it's embedded because you live so close, or you live in Okie State country up there?
I think so. I think so. And it's also because when people find out that I'm a Sooner fan, and it's more than likely because I'm wearing my OU shirt. Yeah. And they kind of look at me like, oh, like you're a Sooner fan. And there's something wrong with it. And I kind of look at them like, yeah, definitely a Sooner fan. Or always, how about them Cowboys? And I'm like, what about them?
Yeah. They suck. That's about. How about that?
I try to be tactful, but I'm not always. Let's just say I've made a few people angry, especially in the office that I work. But I'm just real honest. The record, the history of Bedlam speaks for itself. And I really don't feel like I have to debate it a lot anymore. I did used to banter back and forth, but I'm like, come on, man. There's really nothing to dispute in regards to the history of the program.
Right, and see, here we'll give you a little bit of ammunition if you don't already know this. But are you on Twitter at all?
No, I do. I
Okay.
probably need to join Twitter.
Well, there's a guy on Twitter. His name is Blinken Riley. Okay, that's not his real name. That's his Twitter name. And Blinken is a good friend of ours. He's been on the podcast a couple times. He actually was here a couple of weeks ago. We had a little get together here at the house, and he's a stat man galore. He comes up with stats, so that you would never think about. But some of the best stats that he had on Oklahoma State, I never knew, and they're simple stats. Number one, Iowa State has beaten Oklahoma more than Oklahoma State has.
Really?
Yes. Kansas has beaten Oklahoma more times than Oklahoma State has. Okay, so that should shut every Oklahoma State fan
Oh,
up.
but it won't.
Kansas has a better record against us than you guys do. So you can't be that good of a program, guys. You'll never be that good of a program.
Hey, they're good at
But
wrestling.
then they'll say, but we have more combined national championships than you do. And then they put their wrestler, one guy put a photo of their wrestling team. And I said, okay, so then you need to recruit your wrestlers to play on the football team.
Yeah.
And then maybe, just maybe, they could do something. I don't know.
Well, back in 1945.
Yeah, well, they claim.
It wasn't that a claim?
Yeah.
Wasn't that one claimed?
Yeah, it was awarded to Army and then claimed by Oklahoma State, and so nobody wanted to really mess with it, and they said, okay, you can have it too. Which comes to a topic that we realized a couple of weeks ago is this year Oklahoma plays both of the 1945 national champions. We play Army and Oklahoma State. So how many times does that happen? Does a team play a national champion of the same year in the same year? That just doesn't happen very often, I don't think.
I'm pretty sure we wouldn't have
Right.
claimed it.
Yeah.
So they can claim all they want.
I don't think I'll ever I'll live to watch them play for a national championship. I really don't. I don't think it's going to happen in my time.
No.
Not in football.
I don't-
get
I
one in
don't-
wrestling. But
It's not going to happen in my time. I mean, I don't see it happening. So, just living in this area, I think that's kind of where it comes from. It's where I work. I mean, it's like just orange all the time. And I'm not a smack talker. I'm really not. Until something says to me, and then, if we on occasion lose,
Yeah.
then they feel the need to rub it in your face. And that's when I have something very clever to say.
Yeah.
Like the wrestling thing. Okay, so then maybe you guys need to recruit your wrestlers, to be on the football team, and then just maybe you can beat OU.
Right.
But I don't even think it'll happen then.
Well, saying I
don't think it'll happen then.
I work in home health, okay, and I have a standing rule at my office that you can't wear anything Oklahoma State, okay, and no orange in the office. And I've taken things off, and in home health, it's a predominantly female field, and I've literally walked through my office and taken orange stuff off of people's desk and tossed it in the trash. And they're like, nothing expensive, like little squeeze balls. And I was like, the rule, no orange in the building. And today, when everybody in the office, when whoever goes on vacation, everybody always brings back everybody little knickknacks from where they went on vacation. And one of my office people went on vacation. I came back and there's a little, she went to Florida and there's a little seashell turtle, made out of seashells, a little magnet thing sitting on my desk with an orange damn hat on.
Uh-oh.
And I was like, who gave this? And one of the ladies who's worked for me for a long time, she when I was like, who got this? And she told me who, and she was like, don't say anything. Don't say. I said, I'm saying something. Number one, why would you buy me anything with orange? And so I went out there and was raising a little bit of cane, and come to find out, that's why she gave it to me.
Of course it was.
She was like, well, yeah,
She was trying to be funny.
yeah. So anyway, she took it and gave it to somebody else, and I got one with a little tan hat. She goes, they didn't have one with red, but
Those Aggies always trying to pull a fast one.
But
I
she's
tell
not.
you what, when I visit Norman, I'm like, I feel like so at home. I'm like, I'm around my people
Yeah.
because I just around where I live is just literally it's O State everywhere. It's a lot of O State, and one of the best gifts my dad left the family is he has a wagon that he decked out in all kinds of just Sooner memorabilia, Sooner items, and it has a Sooner horn on it, and we go to parades. We dress up in our best Sooner gear, and we yell "Boomer Sooner." And I tell you what, we get normally 20 to 30, probably 50. Go Dogs! Go Dogs! And of course, I have my bullhorn. I just drown them out every time they say,
awesome.
they want to say "Go Pokes." And one little girl was like, she's trying to like boo us, boo, and I go, "Oh, honey, Boomer? Are you saying Boomer?" My son was like, and I was like, "Hey, if she's old enough to do it, she's old enough to take it."
Yeah. That's it.
I go, "Honey, you can say it, Boomer." Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't under my dad, like yours, was a lot. My dad was a huge Sooner fan from all the way into the 50s. Okay, I guess because I don't understand Cowboy fans. I don't understand a lot of fans, but not only am I a Sooner fan who has a blue blood tradition, powerhouse football team, I'm also a Pittsburgh Steelers fan because of my dad.
Oh, so is my husband. He'd love you to.
Which again, powerhouse, the most successful franchise in Super Bowl history. They've got 6.
Mm-hmm.
I have a whole bunch of Steeler stuff here in this room and a whole bunch of Sooner stuff. And I say that because I don't understand how you could be a fan of a team that doesn't win and
Like
doesn't
the Cleveland
win.
Browns?
Yeah, like the Cleveland Browns. how? I mean, I don't know, and it's not that I'm a bandwagon fan. It's just from the day I was born, we were Sooner and Steeler fans. So my whole life,
That's right.
you have
right.
You have
And
down years. You don't have losing seasons. You have down years.
That's right. That's right. Like, during the 90s, we used to have everybody ready to lose their mind.
Yeah.
And then for real, I mean, literally, I watched fans throw stuff on the coaches.
Yeah.
And I'm not joking. And, it was a hard time to be a Sooner player, coach, and a Sooner fan.
Yeah.
So, now just imagine that's kind of your history of your program is that typically you don't win.
Yeah,
and
decade after decade of that.
That's right. That's right. But they just, they deal with it. Literally, I had someone tell me that they have a class on campus that teaches the students, like, the chants and the fight songs. And I kind of just choked and laughed.
They have a class that does that?
Yes.
The class is the game.
Hey, even he admitted it. He was like, "Hey, well, if we're not going to lose, we may as well have fun." And I'm like, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah, they have classes. I said, "Well, hell, do they have classes to teach them to beat them daggum boards on?" I mean, you talk about annoying.
See,
they want to talk about Boomer Sooner.
See, that's just it. They need classes to teach people their tradition. We were raised in our tradition, and it's been passed from.
Well, they don't have any tradition.
Yeah,
they have classes.
Yeah. Here's what you say at the football. Yeah, obviously they don't have etiquette classes, for football games, because you've seen the meme and that was on ESPN with the reindeer wrapped around his waist. And,
yes.
Yeah, they didn't teach them fan etiquette and how not to look stupid for the rest of your life on ESPN because that's always going to be shown from now until after you die. So
right, or the comments about you can't be OU, so then you have to turn it to targeting the band and then the fans.
Yeah.
I remember, I think it was 2015 when OU just swooped up on O State, at O State.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried to remain silent because all the memes are flying around. You know, even I think OSU was picked to win. And I just remained silent. And then when OU thumped them, Facebook went silent.
Oh, yeah.
And so I kind of was making my little post. Oh, yeah, you had a little post. We know that. And literally, they were commenting about how rude our fans was and how the band played Boomer Soon. I'm like, what do you expect them to play?
Oh, yeah. Exactly.
You know, if we score or they're trying to, you know, they're going to play Boomer Sooner. Sorry, that's how it works. You know, but that's what they, you know, the target was on the fans and the man. I just thought, you know, there's bad in both. I mean, I'm sure that there's some fans that act inappropriate and there's Polk fans that act inappropriate, but don't try to act like it's the entire fan base because it's not. It's not.
Well, see, and I defend us on the point of, you know, the Blake years and Schnellenberger years, you know, they were bad. And, you know, all the Cowboy fans and my friends that were Cowboy fans were all, you know, they were all out of the woodwork then. You know, this is our year again. We're going to beat you. And it's like, you know, how does it feel? How does it feel? And I was like, you know, the thing is that you're not beating us because you're that good. You're beating us because we're that bad. We're not a good team. We were a terrible team, and it will be fixed. Maybe, you know, as mad as we were as Sooner fans during that period of time, we knew eventually it would be fixed.
But you know what? And even though as bad as we were, they still didn't beat us every year.
No.
I mean, so hello.
Yeah, you know the argument.
You still didn't beat us every year.
The argument that they make that I hate the most is, "Oh, you're all bandwagon fans." It's like everybody that graduates from OU, which is considerably more than what graduates from OSU, they all just stop becoming. They're no longer fans once they graduate.
Right.
So
all our fans were uneducated. Which I went to school. I graduated from OU.
Where does that come from?
Well, see, the only fans they have are the fans that went to their school. They don't have bandwagon fans because they don't win.
Yeah.
You don't get a bandwagon fan until you win.
They have to teach them the fight song and to have a class after the class.
Right.
To learn the fight song and all the, goings on there.
So that argument to me is just it's more. It looks worse on them, in my opinion.
Right.
Than
and just the fact, touch on that is the fact, of course, they say, half your fan base, half of Oklahoma fans didn't even go to OU. Well, duh.
Who cares?
Because half, that would be the entire state going to OU.
Right.
Okay.
That's right. That's right.
It's physically impossible for that to happen.
And we got to have a school where the slower kids go. So.
Yeah. But
I have had that said to me numerous times. Just about like how like OU fans are uneducated, and I'm like, wow. So you think everybody? Because literally, it's not everybody that's an OSU fan is not a graduate of O State. Because I know a lot of them my way that are not college graduates from OSU.
Right.
That is just another one of their delusional ideas, to come up with to just try to justify why they're on board with a team that never wins.
Right.
No. Yeah.
Never wins.
The thing.
Never.
The thing that we already knew, but that Rob and I already knew, but we're learning so much more about it since we started this podcast, and having fans like yourself on, is the Sooner fan is embedded through generations.
Absolutely.
It's not. I woke up one day and I thought, what, I like this and this, and I'm going to be a Sooner fan. My dad was a Sooner fan, okay, from the 50s. Rob's dad.
Nope.
No?
I'm actually the exception to the rule because...
Really? Yep. I thought your dad...
My dad grew up without... they were way out in the country people.
Yeah.
I mean, my granddad didn't even know what football was.
Mm-hmm.
He never...
He
never seen a TV in his life. So my dad actually didn't really become a Sooner fan until I started,
Okay.
So... Yeah, I mean, he became a huge fan of the Sooners.
Well, but then we have we've had people on from Coach B Sooner. That's his Twitter handle. He's from South Carolina, and his family is all Sooner fans out there. They're originally from Oklahoma. They moved out there. Brett, who's out in Arizona, his family has always been Sooner fans. There's another. We just went blank on his name. I can't remember his name. Golly, he's been at my house and everything. He's from Arizona. Golly, I can't think of his name. He's going to be mad at me now. My wife is really going to be mad at me because he's a good kid. No, he, doggone it. Anyway, again, he's from Arizona. His family are fans. And it just seems like everybody that we've had on the podcast, with the exception of Rob, who was on, it's generational. Their family was Sooner fans, and I'm not talking, the folks that we have on, like yourself. It is in their blood. This is us. This is part of what we are.
Right. I'm literally a fan that would see somebody else in something and go, Boomer. I remember when they had the Heisman winners. They were at Walmart and were going to sign autographs. And I didn't realize that it was going on. And I was doing my grocery shopping, and I hear Billy Sims yell, Boomer! And I'm on the other side of the grocery line. And my son is like, Mama, for real? Hey, I hear that that's Billy Sims. So I track it over there. Of course, the line is like out the door, but I mean, you have that Sooner spirit and that Sooner pride that's just, it's generational. And I do take offense when people try to tell me that, like I don't belong and that like I'm not a Sooner. Because, maybe I didn't graduate from there, or I don't meet their description of what they feel like a fan should be. And I'm like, you know what? I'm a Sooner. I'm always going to be a Sooner. And I have a love for the school, a love for the team, regardless. If they're on top, which, we typically always are, they're not. I've been up close and personal with the program when they were struggling. And, we wrote it out and, we supported my brother and the team, and that's what true fans do. When you're down, you're still there. And when you're on top, hey, it's even further.
Right.
When you're on top. And I'm so glad that they, again, even from like that 2000 championship team, it seems like we're evolving from even that. So I'm so excited about what this season is going to bring. The potential, the possibilities. I'm just really excited to watch the football.
Yeah, that's what I was fixing to ask you is what do you think is going to happen this year? Do you think?
Ooh. Well, my prediction, I predict that we're going to have Kyler Murray. I've heard so many arguments happen for, about, well, he's just 1 year and that maybe he should let Austin Kendall, have the reins. And, I'm confident in the coach that Lincoln is, and the best man is going to be out there. My prediction is that it's going to be Kyler, and hold on to your hats, people, because he has a year to make his mark on the program. I think we're in for a ride. And I'm so excited with the defense, about the recruits that we have coming in, about who we have, Bookie. I'm excited. I'm excited to see some changes definitely on the defense, because you get tired of defending them,
Yeah.
People talking about our defense, and you just, and I know that they can do it, and I know that we've been known for defense. So it really kind of, it really hurts to kind of see the defense struggling as they have for the past years, but I think we're going to start seeing some changes on the defensive end. And I hope we're knocking right back on the door of the playoffs. And, that we're going to make another run for it. I'm confident. I'm going to hold out hope that we're going to be right there at the end of the playoffs, and we're going to be knocking on the door again.
Well,
it's coming. Our championship is coming again. I'm confident. Yep. It's coming.
Well, here's again a little stat for you: is the last two, hugely successful coaches at Oklahoma are Barry Switzer, in his second year won a national title, and Bob Stoops in his second year won a national title. So this is, set up for Lincoln. Is he going to follow in his, mentor's footsteps and the King's footsteps and in his second year win? I agree with you. We're going to be in the discussion. We're going to be in it, and it all lies, I believe, just like what you said, it lies in the defense. We've preached it on the podcast until we're, blue in the face. Our this season's success, I believe, is in the
hands of the defense.
In the hands of the defense.
We might play well, just like last year. We played well, and we made it to the playoffs. But you're not going to win a championship with the number 67 defense in the nation. You're just not.
I agree.
So
I agree.
But
definitely.
Well, Keesha, we sure appreciate you coming on.
Well, thank you.
And we hope you enjoyed it.
I did.
And we've got some plans for the season. One of the things that we're going to be doing is putting out a game day podcast. I'm letting everybody know this. We've been publicizing it this week. And if you would like to be on it, what we do, and so everybody out there knows, we're not asking anybody to give up their Saturday morning, to be on our podcast. But what we're going to do is the week before every game, we're going to just call fans and give them their own segment on our game day podcast. Let them talk about whatever they want to talk about for the game. And we'll record during the week, and then we'll put it out on Saturday mornings for game day to give people stuff to listen to for on their drive to the game or at their tailgates or, whatever their ritual is on game day. We're hoping that that'll be they'll make us a part of it. So we'd like for you to do that. We're going to put you on our list if that's okay. And
we'd love to hear some more King Collins stories. I mean, we love having you on too.
You've
got stories.
I had to chuckle today. Let me just tell you this. I was doing some work, and I had to call somebody else, and got to the end of the discussion. He said, "Are you King Sister?" I get it all the time.
I bet you
get it all the time. That's like Tara. You guys interviewed Tara Patil a little while ago.
Oh yeah. You know Tara?
And she. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I worked with Tara.
Oh Lord, help you.
And so that's why she said, you're going to have to talk about your brother, because around these parts, I'm known as King's little sister.
Oh.
I mean, I don't have a name.
I bet that's right.
I'm King's sister. So, yeah.
So you know her from, because she lived up in that area for a while, she said.
Yes,
right. She did,
yes. Me and Tara were Sooner sisters. We're Sooner sisters forever because of her time.
I bet you have some stories to tell about that woman.
She's a mess. I love her to death, though.
Well, you trying to get beat?
She's one of the most real people. When you think about attorneys and assistant district attorneys to boot, you kind of think, well, maybe they're not real personable, but she's the most personable person ever.
She's already talking about putting a VPO on me.
Yeah, she wanted to put a VPO on Rob.
Do not mess with Tara, okay?
but no, she actually was on our podcast, and she was part of a deal we did a couple of weeks ago. We called it.
I saw you guys had your, what was it?
Champ U Fan Feast. And her and some of the other people that have been out on the podcast were here at our house. And, my wife, who's a sweetheart, she never met a stranger, but she just fell in love with Tara and Trey Linda, both the ladies that were here. And one of the ladies couldn't make it. But I mean, she is a hoot. I mean,
She is. I tell you what, she kept me in stitches. I laughed a lot.
yeah,
She can make
I
some mean
laughed a
cookies
lot
too.
with her.
yeah. Rob just said she can make some mean cookies too. So,
Okay, well, I'm like, she's been holding out then. I'm
Uh-oh.
cookies.
well, she made 2 big old batches and for the party, and she actually, when the first time she was on, she got my address and she mailed us a big old box of homemade cookies.
Wow, look at her.
So, but anyway,
Happy.
again, thanks for being on, and we'll put you on our list, and we'll get in touch with you for doing one of our game day podcasts. And any Sooner fan that wants to be on it, just go to our website at www.soonerfootballfans.com and click on the, I want to be on the game day podcast tab, and just put your information in there and we'll get you on. But
Awesome.
But Keesha, enjoyed it and hope you have
Thank
a good
you.
evening.
Boomer, y'all.
All right. Boomer, Keesha.
Boomer.
We'll talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the Sooner Football Fans Podcast. If you want to be on the podcast and talk Sooner football with us, go to www.soonerfootballfans.com. Click on the How to Be on the Podcast tab, fill out the form, and we'll get you on. Boomer.